At exactly 5 a.m., the silence in my mountain cabin shattered when the alarm screamed through the halls. Moments later, the guard's trembling voice came through the intercom. "Ma'am, your daughter-in-law is here. She brought movers. She claims this entire property belongs to her and wants you out immediately." I calmly stirred my tea, inhaled the steam, and smiled to myself. "Let her inside," I said. "She's about to learn something I finalized just yesterday." The morning was unusually cold, even for the mountains. A thin layer of mist still floated above the trees. Everything was peaceful, until the sudden alarm pierced the quiet. I nearly spilled my tea from the unexpected jolt. The red lights on the wall flashed in a steady rhythm. I set my cup down and walked toward the security panel. Before I could touch anything, the intercom buzzed sharply. The guard's voice cracked as he spoke. "Ma'am, we have a situation outside." My eyebrows lifted slightly. "What kind of situation?" I asked calmly. He hesitated before answering. "Your daughter-in-law is here with a moving crew." I blinked once, surprised but not shocked. She always had a habit of choosing dramatic entrances. "And what does she want at this hour?" I questioned. The guard swallowed hard. Even through the speaker, I heard his nervous breath. "She says you need to leave immediately." I let out a soft laugh. "Leave? At 5 in the morning?" The guard continued shakily. "Yes, she claims this property belongs to her now." I walked back to my table and took another sip of tea. The flavor was settling, warm, steady, comforting. Very unlike the chaos happening outside. I checked the time on the old wooden clock. Its ticking felt louder than usual. My daughter-in-law always believed she understood everything. She always assumed she was 2 steps ahead. But this time, she was terribly mistaken. "Let her in," I finally said. The guard's voice wavered. "Are you sure, ma'am?" "Absolutely," I replied with a measured tone. "She needs to see something." I smoothed the wrinkles from my robe. The soft fabric brushed against my skin. I took a deep breath, steady and unhurried. Footsteps echoed outside the door. Loud ones, hers, and a few softer ones, the movers. She didn't bother knocking. She pushed the door open with unnecessary force. Her eyes scanned the living room arrogantly. "Well?" she said sharply. "You're still here?" I raised my cup again before answering. "Yes, I am. Good morning to you too." She ignored the greeting. "Pack your things. This place is mine now." Her voice carried the confidence of someone misinformed. I took another slow sip. "Is that so?" I asked softly. She crossed her arms tightly. "You know exactly what I'm talking about." I tilted my head slightly. "Actually, I'm not sure I do." Her impatience grew instantly. "The documents, the property transfer." "Ah." I nodded lightly. "Those documents." She stepped closer, almost triumphant. "Yes, Dad left it to me." Her overconfidence painted her entire expression. I admired her boldness, though it was misguided. "You seem very sure of that," I said calmly. She smirked. "I am. And you need to leave now." The movers behind her looked uncomfortable. They weren't used to being dragged into family drama. "You brought them awfully early," I remarked. "Efficiency," she replied bluntly. "People who hesitate lose." I placed the teacup gently on the table. "Interesting philosophy." She tapped her foot impatiently. "Stop stalling, where are your bags?" I gestured toward a nearby chair. She followed my hand movement with narrowed eyes. "I don't see anything packed," she snapped. "Naturally," I responded. "I wasn't planning on leaving." Her face twisted in disbelief. "You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm perfectly serious." She opened her purse aggressively. Papers rustled noisily inside. She pulled out a stack of documents. "See these? These prove I own everything." I leaned back comfortably. "Do they?" "Yes," she insisted. Her voice echoed against the cabin walls. "This entire property is mine now." I studied her expression carefully. She genuinely believed her words. She believed she'd already won. "What exactly did you sign?" I asked gently. She rolled her eyes. The transfer. Dad left this cabin to me. I felt a small smile forming. He told you that? Yes, she said proudly, and the documents prove it. I motioned for her to hand me the papers. She hesitated, but eventually did. I flipped through the pages slowly. My fingers traced each signature, each line, each detail. She stood watching, growing more impatient. Well? She demanded. I closed the file softly. These documents are interesting. She grinned, assuming I had confirmed her victory. Exactly. Now get ready to leave. But there's a problem, I said lightly. Her smile faded instantly. What problem? I tapped the first page. This signature. I paused for effect. It isn't valid anymore. She stepped closer. Her eyes widened with concern. What do you mean? I placed the folder on the table. The transfer you're holding is outdated. Her mouth fell open slightly. Outdated? How? I folded my hands calmly. Because a new one was signed yesterday. Silence filled the room. Even the movers froze. She shook her head rapidly. No, that's impossible. Nothing is impossible, I replied, especially when your assumptions are wrong. She swallowed hard. What does the new document say? I stood up slowly. My chair made a soft scraping sound. It says, I began, that this property... I paused again. Her breathing grew louder. Yes? She demanded. I finished my sentence calmly. No longer belongs to your father at all. She blinked rapidly. What? You heard me. She shook her head. That can't be true. Yet it is, I replied. She stepped back uncertainly. Her confidence wavered for the first time. The movers shifted awkwardly behind her. So who does it belong to? She whispered. I picked up my teacup again. To me, I said simply. Her jaw dropped. How is that possible? I sipped my tea before answering. Because your father made a new will. Yesterday? She asked weakly. Yes, yesterday, I confirmed. She pressed a hand to her forehead. Why would he do that? I raised an eyebrow. Perhaps you should ask yourself. She looked away, suddenly unsure. Her bravado faded like morning mist. So, I don't own anything? Not a single inch, I replied. She exhaled shakily. The movers exchanged glances. No one moved or spoke. Then why did the old papers say otherwise? Because they were written years ago. She clenched her jaw. He didn't tell me anything. He didn't need to, I said. She stared at me in disbelief. So what happens now? Now? I repeated. I set my teacup down once more. Now you learn the truth. She waited silently, her eyes filled with confusion. The truth about what? I took a deep breath. About what really happened yesterday. Her lips parted slightly. What did you do? I stepped closer to her. My voice remained calm. Something that changes everything. She swallowed hard, unsure of the answer. And I think it's time you heard it.